I'm pretty sure Konami had a talk about the Forbidden List, and it went something like this.
And then the players said they won't drop a Forbidden List before the Remote Duel Invitational. And then I said, I'll drop a better format and make you play under the worst one.
What's going on with you guys? TheCaliEffect, King of Games here, and I apologize to everyone that is playing in the Remote Duel Invitational. Dealing with True King of all calamities one last time must feel like...
I believe I can fly.
Regardless, after that dreadful event, you can look forward to the new format because there are so many decks inside of this format that can compete, and with most of the toxicity already being outright banned, this format has the potential to be one of the best formats in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, of all time. Hands down, best format. What hits the cards that don't let you play Yu-Gi-Oh! Like True King of all calamities and Utopic Zek, so the format has definitely shaped out to be one of the more interesting formats where almost any deck can compete. Well, in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys the 5 best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. Not only will I tell you what the decks do, I'll also be able to give you some countermeasures in case you go against the deck and, you know, you want to win. So of course, if you want to see more videos like this, then be sure to destroy that subscribe button, but also be sure to hit that notification bell because, well, we just too strong. Also, if you just so happen to like any of these decks or anytime you actually get on TCG Player, use my TCG Player link. It really helps me out as a content creator. Without further ado, let's jump on in. So in case you guys need a quick recap over the March 2021 Forbidden List, I go over it in about 5 minutes, giving you all of the details you need and not doing any crazy faces as reactions, even though I do miss those. I strongly suggest that you check out that list to get acclimated in the situation that we're in because boy, it feels like it's gonna be 2 cards running the format. Similar to how True King of all calamities dictated which decks can and cannot compete, I strongly feel that Divine Arsenal AA Zeus and Red Eyes Dark Dragoon will have that type of effect on the format. If the deck can't beat these cards consistently, then it just might struggle. With that in mind, these particular strategies can play around those particular cards, but also what they do is what makes them dominant. The first strategy I want to talk to you guys about is probably the best strategy in Yu-Gi-Oh! Rocket Dragon Link has already been making waves in the format before, and now is its time to be the front runner of the format yet again. Now, the Rocket Dragon Link strategy is exactly what it sounds like. It is a dragon deck that can link. Never would have guessed, right? Monsters like Guard Dragon, LP, and Pisty are no strangers to the dragon strategy as they allow you to move dragon monsters to your side of the field with the restriction of only being able to summon dragon monsters while they're on the field. So just get rid of them. The deck makes some really powerful monsters like Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres, which serves as a form of disruption and can summon a dragon monster from your deck to your side of the field, and it also can make Borreload Savage Dragon with multiple negations. Even though Savage Dragon can only negate once, why do players even do that? That doesn't even make any sense. It can only negate once. One of Rocket Dragon Link's biggest ability is to be able to play through hand traps like Nibiru and Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. You're gonna have your hands full if your locals is filled with Rocket Dragon Link. It's a really adaptable deck that can change depending on what dragon cards are out, like how Dragon Link players are now using Chamber DRAGONMAID as a starter. Not only can it search DRAGONMAID Tidying, which could be an extender if in the graveyard, it's also a point of disruption. Dragon Link's true weakness are hand traps like Drolden Lockbird and Artifact Lancea. If the card doesn't prevent the Dragon Link player from performing a particular action that they like doing, 9 times out of 10 it's not going to stop them. They have too many extenders. Dragon Link is easily a frontrunner as the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I feel that players should respect it likewise. You could say that Dragon Link has rocketed itself into the top contending metas because it's Rocket Dragon Link. I seriously thought that it was gonna be a deck that would get hit, but Eldlich seems to be a deck that will be able to be very competitive inside of this new meta. The Eldlich strategy is centered around Eldlich the Golden Lord, which allows you to send it from your hand to the graveyard, as well as another card to be able to send a card on your opponent's field to the graveyard, but can also summon itself from the graveyard to the side of the field by sending a spell or trap card you control to the graveyard and then adding it to the hand and then summoning itself. And It makes himself indestructible and he gains attack. If that wasn't enough, Eldlich the Golden Lord is complemented by Conquistador and Vaquero, not only summoning themselves as monsters to the side of the field, but also serving as a DD Crow, banishing cards in your opponent's graveyard, or a Raigeki Break, which can destroy cards on your opponent's side of the field. The cool thing about Eldlich is that you can play it in so many different decks right now. Whether it's Zodiac, Dogmatika, Invoked. Why wasn't this hit? I'm not even done. There's like Pure and then Live Twin and then Zombies. Like, this is kind of ridiculous. Eldlich is one of the more versatile strategies that can be played in just about anything to make it better. Now, Eldlich does have a weakness. If you can prevent Eldlich the Golden Lord from ever hitting the field, well, I mean, the Eldlich trap cards kind of go to waste. Also, Eldlich decks tend to be very trap heavy, so cards like Cosmic Cyclone and Evenly Matched are really good against the Eldlich strategy, mainly because it prevents those Eldlich trap cards from being used in the graveyard. A deck that was actually catching fire before the Forbidden List dropped and then just got a little bit stronger because the Forbidden List is Phantom Knights. Now, Phantom Knights did take a little while to mature from the Phantom Rage set, but once it did, it became a really good deck. The deck is centered around being able to make Rusty Bardish to your side of the field, which can set free traps like Phantom Knight's Fog Blade to be able to negate your opponent's monsters, but also has more intricacies, being able to summon monsters with mad negations like Apollousa Woe of the Goddess and Arc Rebellion. This deck actually is one of the better break my board type decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. And the thing that makes this deck really cool is using cards like Forbidden Droplets is really easy. Sending your Phantom Knight cards from the hand or field to the graveyard is just graveyard effects to be used later on. Phantom Knights genuinely have a lot going for them, being one of the only decks that I mentioned that could summon Red Eye Dark Dragoon and handle it with ease. I mean, Eldlich could do it, but seriously, what can't Eldlich do? Now, fortunately for us, there's actually some cards that not only help you beat Dragon Link and Eldlich, but also can address Phantom Knights as well. Of course, Cosmic Cyclone can be able to banish your opponent's Phantom Knight Fog Blades before they can negate an opponent's monster, but also it prevents them from using its graveyard effect. And then Artifact LANCEA can completely end a Phantom Knight's player's turn because they need to banish in order to activate their graveyard effects. The Phantom Knight strategy is nowhere near invincible, but it's a really good deck that is able to grind and play into those longer parts of the format. It's one of the decks that I feel you can have a Phantom Rage for if you play against it too many times, because you guys get the pun. Now, if there was a top 3 decks of the format, I would strongly say that right now, Dragon Link, Eldlich, and Phantom Knights are probably the strongest decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! These next 2 strategies are obviously really good, but they actually allow you to be able to address some of the stronger decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! While also fending off some of the other decks that come after it. Invoked Shadow Dogmatika is not only a deck that I feel is a top contender, mainly because it can compete with the decks in the higher bracket, but also can fend off the other strategies from the other side of the bracket. The premise of Invoked Dogmatika Shadow is to be able to summon monsters like Invoked Mechaba, which not only negates the card effect that your opponent is trying to use, but can banish it. This can work really well against Phantom Knight cards and Eldlich cards, and when you're going against combo decks like Dragon Links or the aforementioned Phantom Knights, El Shadow window only allows a player from special summoning once. It really feels like Invoked Dogmatika was made for this format. It can address some of the higher bracketed decks with those particular cards inside of the main board, but also dealing with the lower bracketed decks with those same 2 monsters. The deck proves itself to be extremely flexible, and I still haven't gotten to talk about how Dogmatika Maximus doesn't get the respect it deserves. Players literally forgot about this card, so you could use it for free. My man George said it best, summon Maximus, do you play the cards? No? Well, we're gonna be in for a long ride. Now, the weaknesses with Invoked Dogmatika is fortunately almost the exact same thing as the other decks. Droll and Lockbird is really good at preventing the deck from searching multiple times, and Artifact Lancea can prevent the deck from banishing when it really needs to. I still wouldn't sleep on the deck. It would invoke you to put some dog on its name, and it can shadow with some of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yes, I'm very proud of that one. And the last strategy is a real tough one. I personally feel that there are so many strategies in Yu-Gi-Oh! That could fit that 5th slot. I actually want you to post down below in the comment section, what do you think is a strategy that could hit that 5th slot that could be one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! In this particular list, we're gonna say Dinosaur is one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Dino's too strong, boy! We back at it again! Over After Band? No. What does Misk do?
Everything. Dino's two-stroke.
While some dino decks did really lose True King of all calamities, even though it didn't matter, the strategy is still one of the most powerful decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Soul Link Alvaraptor has proven time after time that it's one of the most powerful search cards, allowing you to search any dinosaur monster or send it to your graveyard. Of course, that searches our blanket protection with Misc. One thing we do have to watch out for is Phantom Knight's Fogblade could negate our monsters even when we activate Misc, but have you read Misc? It has another effect. It can summon dino monsters from our deck to our side of the field by banishing dino monsters to the graveyard, and we still have one of the strongest boss monsters in Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, which can attack every single one of your opponent's monsters and flip them face down, boy. Like seriously, you Dino what you're talking about if Dino ain't the best deck. It needs to be in your top 5 list every single time. Now, Dino genuinely only has one weakness: the unholy touching dinos thinking that they can play the deck when we know it's just too strong, boy. Okay guys, but seriously, cards like Artifact Lancea and Drolden Lockbird can hurt the dino strategy. Those are some cards that you really need to look out for if you're playing against a dino deck. Well, that is all that I have for the top 5 decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, I do feel like there's some decks that could be on this list, and I want you guys to post down below in the comment section what they are. Also, be on the lookout when I make a tier list for the top staples and hand traps. But until then, go ahead and check out these videos, as I'll catch you on the next one.